What's up, YouTube? It's Corey from KP Aquariums, and I got some good news and I got some bad news. Well, the bad news portion of this I actually debated as to whether or not to share with you guys, but I feel like I'd be doing, well, myself, this channel, and you guys a disservice if I didn't share it. I guess the main reason I set up this channel was so that I could give a little bit back, and hopefully, you know, you guys can learn either from my mistakes, as it were, or from my successes. Either way, I'm hoping to throw a little bit of education down the line. So, if you guys have been following me for a while, you kind of you've watched the setup. You watched me build some of these things, like my central air system and my water system, how I refill tanks, but for the few new subscribers, let me give you guys a quick rundown and show you what happened. So, this hose here runs along. That's how I refill tanks, right? This comes all the way along over to here. You see now, I have a timer reinstalled. About 3 weeks ago or so, I got basically impatient because that timer is meant to be on a pressurized system, and right now it's just gravity fed. So the flow on that, let me actually show you. The flow on that is, well, disappointing to say the least. So you can see how slow that water's coming out, which on some level is a good thing, because if it is a difference in temperature, it's coming out very slowly and it'll have a chance to mix. It's not going to shock the fish. It's also on a timer, so there's a limit. You know, if I forget about it, walk away, it'll automatically shut off. Like I said, I had removed that timer because I just had a ton of tanks to refill and whatnot, and it was just getting annoying waiting for it. So where that comes from is this tote right here. So 270 gallon tote. I got it hooked up to a 36 watt UV sterilizer inside that tank and tap water on a float valve. So what happened was last week, Friday it was, I had that refill guy. I was doing about a 50% water change on this tank. So I took a bunch of water out and was refilling it, and you'll notice there's no fish in here now. What happened was basically I got distracted and walked away. And with no timer on that, it just kept flowing and flowing and flowing. And what happened was the water kind of ran all the way down here on the floor and then hit that crack and started flowing underneath my building. So, that being said, this wasn't noticed by anyone here at the company for hours, to the point where I had completely drained that tote. So 250 gallons of water. That's an 80-gallon tank over there. So lots of water, lots of exchange, temperature changes, and, you know, one of the reasons that that tank is successful is, you know, based on time. So it fills up, and the pump and the sterilizer are in there running, circulating water constantly, so, and it's open on top, so chlorine can gas off, the sterilizer can do its thing, kill anything else that's in there, and the temperature can rise, right, to be more appropriate to put in these tanks. So if I forget about it, it just drained that entire tank, and now tap water is just straight, it's just running straight into my tanks, or into that one tank in particular. So when I discovered it, there was only one fish that had died. And in doing a count of everything, so what happened was basically I discovered it, freaked out, grabbed some nets, started separating those fish. I had two 40-gallon breeders here that were empty, kind of ready to go, fresh water. So I started splitting the tanks up, or the main tank up into these two, and put some dechlor in the tanks, and basically crossed my fingers, because they were already really lethargic, barely moving. You know, like I said, I had lost one already. And like I said, in doing counts after the fact, so this is one of the tanks that everything got moved into. So you see I got what, 12 fish in there, something like that. Here's the other one. What, 20 fish? You'll notice not a single yellow lab. I had one yellow lab that survived. Lost probably 15. And in total, probably lost about 35 fish. So, due to nothing but my own negligence. So other than quit being stupid and put the timer back on the hose there, I'm not sure that I really taught myself any lessons, but yeah, don't do that. So yeah, I was very sad. Like I said, when I came back over the weekend on Monday, I scooped out more dead fish, so in total probably lost about 35 fish. Very sad. And so hopefully putting that timer back on it, that will prevent sheer negligence from just going off and killing fish. Because I do have a propensity to forget, seeing as how this fish room is at work. I will forget and walk away and get distracted, do something else. I'm at work. So, yeah. Anyhow, now on to some little bit good news. So, I noticed, and of course she's not coming out. She's hiding in that trio of PVC tubes in there. But Lady Livingston is holding one more time. So that's super fun. These guys do, however, they seem to have recovered okay. They're eating again, so that's good. They're active, same with these guys. So that I'm thankful for. Look at all the little baby red empresses, doing great, eating up a storm. This tank here was interesting. On Saturday, I was in here and I noticed that the albino Socolofi, which they refer to as a snow white cichlid, and she was over there in my 240. I noticed she was holding. I'm like, that's interesting. I wonder what's going to come out of her. So I grabbed her out of there, and you'll notice not a single fish that came out of her mouth is albino. So I am really curious to see what they grow up to be. Here's the first batch of Livingstone Eye. Doing great, haven't lost any of those guys. Also in that egg tumbler right there, and I'm starting to get, I got eyeballs and tails and everything. It's a whole nother batch of yellow labs, thankfully. And the other thing I noticed, yesterday I noticed this. Look what Dad is guarding. See if I can even see him. So yep, he's got a whole pile of eggs back there. So, with the unexpected and fairly discouraging loss of a bunch of fish. Fish do their thing, man. Nature finds a way, and I got a whole bunch more fish coming up. So I hate to say that equals anything out, because it doesn't take away from the fact that my negligence killed like 35 fish. So, but yeah, that's very discouraging as a fish keeper. So there it is. Thank you guys for your time. I realized I kind of babbled on for a little bit. Like, subscribe, share, all that. I really appreciate all your time and your comments. Fish on, everybody. Thank you, YouTube.